Pinterest has a very good paid targeting. So we call it the gateway drug. I hope that's okay to say on this podcast. And we call it the gateway drug of social media. We'll take your Pinterest, and I'm teaching everybody here. This is free advice. Steal what we do. We take our Pinterest, we send that traffic to your website, we pixel them, and then we do them in retargeting campaigns for Facebook and Google. So you really hone in on what you're able to do. Again, gone are the days of focusing on one channel. It's really how this omni-channel network works. And that's where we saw Pinterest take the next level. It also was able to help all of our other platforms with paid media.
Hey, this is where I talk to the best drivers of the direct-to-consumer industry, like founders, investors, marketers, CROs, agencies, and dwell into strategies that they've been using to build some great D2C businesses. Let's go on the DTC Drive. I'm your host, Ashish Ramamurthy.
Awesome. So thank you so much for having me and that we can talk about this. How I got into e-commerce is we actually through marketing and technology. And so marketing and technology have merged recently a lot more. I think developers and marketers need each other more than ever, especially with all these emerging technologies. And so really helping e-commerce brands take their brands to another level, get exposure. Gone are the days that you can just go and do a Google ad. You must be on all the social platforms to rank. AI has changed the game of it too. So has visual search. And so we make sure the brands are across all social platforms, really creating that omni-channel. And we've seen e-commerce brands go from really small amounts of revenue within the first 30, 60 days, doubling and tripling their revenue by leveraging all these platforms. So it's an investment to do, but it's absolutely worth it. And we're talking about organic, not paid. So leveraging these platforms organically first is really where we're seeing a lot of success.
Oh, that's interesting that you said, because see, there are pretty much, I can say, 10 platforms out there that you need to be. But resources is a problem because every platform works in a different way. The content works in a different way. The algorithm keeps changing every day. And consumer behavior also keeps changing. And there's like so much of factors to that, right? So what are some of the channels that you think people should go first? Obviously, that answer can be defined in terms of where the customers are. But what are some of the channels that you've seen work for pretty much any e-commerce brand?
So we say there's 6 channels for every e-commerce. And then there's those are the must-haves, and then there's the nice-to-haves. So the must-haves are, and whether you like them or not, I'm sure people say, I don't like that platform. It's okay. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Pinterest. Those are the ones that every brand must have, and you're 100% right. There is the algorithms changing, the numbers change, and it's no longer yearly. It's like almost monthly that we get these updates and how to, from Bard coming out from Google to, ChatGPT and how you're going to rank, and then tying that into your Pinterest strategy. Pinterest just merged with Amazon. And so now you've got those affiliates, and all of a sudden that changed the game for a lot of e-commerce brands to get onto it. So it's really knowing a team that you can trust, but it's not a one-person job anymore.
Okay. No, I mean, I'm glad you said that, because I run a ship, which is pretty much a 2-people ship. You're running 5 platforms, right? So I'll tell you how hard that is, right, already. So when it comes to Pinterest, let's talk about Pinterest, right? So initially when Pinterest came in, it was all about, hey, I'm a designer, I'm going out there, I've built something. There has never been a platform where I can visually show my work, and here is a platform which is allowing me to do that, right? So it started out like that, and then people shared a ton of those, and people started using the platform. Why did e-commerce brands needed that, right? Why is even Pinterest an important channel to be?
Well, when Pinterest started, you're right, it was that. But Pinterest has honestly been on the forefront of evolutionizing social media. And I think they have always been the quiet one about it. And it's been great. So you have to talk about visual search, just visual search. And we all know that with everything that's happening in social media, what's ever happening, with ADA compliance for your website, visual search on this platform is a big deal. And I love to show this as an example. And I grabbed my phone and I'm going to do it here because I think it's important. But when Instagram came out, you can actually see, if I get to my phone close enough to the camera, you can see it. You can go down to this little search bar and you can actually, so when you go to the search bar, there's a little camera that pops up here. This little camera here, I'm going to take my chapstick. I'm going to take a photo of my chapstick and it starts searching the internet for that. It allows me now to buy this product in any store that would able to put it on there. So for an e-commerce platform, if I have a product like chapstick and I sell my chapstick in Target and I sell it in a Whole Foods and I sell it in a grocery store or a gas station, I want to make sure my Pinterest is built out that way. So that's one. Pinterest also became with voice search. So I'm going to use my dad as an example. He's 71 years old and he speaks into his phone. He has Siri questions. Well, Pinterest voice search outperforms even Google's voice search. So he'll always say, Robin, how did I get on this Pinterest thing? And I'm like, Dad, it's Pinterest. And you got on there by voice searching. So from Siri to Alexa, it is a fantastic, and it's literally just, my phone just picked it up right now as we're talking. It literally picks up the products if you have your product descriptions in there. So e-commerce brands learned this and they started writing out, helps with chapped lips, helps with when your elbows are chapped. All of a sudden their product became the most searched thing by just people voice talking. And so gone are the days of a copywriter. It's how do people naturally talk to each other? And that's how your voice search is going to be found. And that's how Pinterest works. Then Pinterest decided to say, we're going to integrate your shopping feed and you can become a verified merchant on ours. Well, now I can digest my Shopify feed into my Pinterest and I become a verified merchant. Well, we all know it was super hard to get a blue check on Twitter and Instagram. It was almost freaking impossible. And then all of a sudden Pinterest said, no, we'll give you a blue check. You become a verified merchant. Now it's shoppable in every pin that I put. And we saw e-commerce brands go from this to this immediately. And then 2 weeks ago, they said, we're going to partner with Amazon and we're going to do an Amazon affiliate program. And Amazon, who's the big dog globally, all of a sudden stepped in and your products are now being found for what people are searching on Amazon. So you have these 4 components pulling into Pinterest, and that's a huge deal to businesses. That's a game changer to what a business does.
Wow.
I know, so much. And everyone's like, it's not even on our roadmap. It should be, because it has to be. You have to step into this game.
Trust me, a lot of people don't know this.
I know. And I want to say, maybe I should work for Pinterest at this point. It has changed brands. We saw a brand last year. In 1 year, they went from $0 of revenue to $4 million of revenue from Pinterest. That's insane.
It was organically?
They did start layering paid. For the first 90 days, it was organic. And then Pinterest has a very good paid targeting. So we call it the gateway drug. I hope that's okay to say on this podcast. And we call it the gateway drug of social media. We'll take your Pinterest, and I'm teaching everybody here. This is free advice. Steal what we do. We take our Pinterest, we send that traffic to your website, we pixel them, and then we do them in retargeting campaigns for Facebook and Google. So you really hone in on what you're able to do. Again, gone are the days of focusing on one channel. It's really how this omni-channel network works. And that's where we saw Pinterest take to the next level. It also was able to help all of our other platforms with paid media.
Oh, wow. Really interesting. Okay. So the kind of content which is put out there on Instagram from the same brands are pretty much, UGC kind of content. They're getting the users to showcase their product, or getting the influencers to showcase their product and stuff like that. Does that work similar to Pinterest, or Pinterest has some sort of different kind of content which works in scale for e-commerce?
Sheets not only works, it's like the best. So we take influencer content brand ambassador content, user-generated content. We move it over to Pinterest boards and we say, this is what they're saying about us. We move it to idea pins because there's so many different types of pins. There used to be just put a pin, that's it. Now there's idea pins, there's carousel pins, there's video pins. And so we're able to use all of that user-generated content to drive results. And that actually performs better than a sterile picture of just my cup.
So how does a pin get viral on the platform? Because like many of them wonder about this because they start creating, they put it like easily 3 pins a day, but they don't get the virality because it just stays there. There's not much views coming in. And some people just put money on it and expect that to work. How do you really go big on the platform?
I would say it's making sure it's consistent with pins. Mixing a variety of pins. Some people will just put a pin. They'll do the same thing on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you're like, well, that didn't do anything. Anything that has a story behind it. So we have a shoe company and we went out there and we used all user-generated content. The pictures they took did not perform well at Pinterest. So they were paying all this money for these photo shoots. And we gave it to a couple nano and micro influencers with only like 2,000 followers, gave them that. And all of a sudden that video content was in that pin started performing better. And that's where once it starts performing well organically, you start testing with small budgets, $50. Some people will go and like, this is doing good. I'll put $1,000 on it. Well, that doesn't help you. Start small and build and see why that audience is. And each one of them is going to have a different target. So that's really what we say. You can't do the exact same thing that you're doing on Instagram. You're not going to win. You want to make sure it has the text in it. You want to make sure it has the hashtags in it. You're creating a board that makes sense. So sometimes we'll dedicate one board to one influencer. So it's like, this is their favorite food. This is the seasoning, and we might be a seasoning company. This is how we have our seasoning. And then this is their favorite colors or what food inspires them. So we try to give it a story. And I think that's where social businesses, they don't understand it's about relationship. It's about people want to connect with another person.
Wow. Okay. I think I'm going to scream it out loud to people because everybody complains that, hey, my Facebook is not working, this is not working, and all that. I think the new thing I'm going to start telling them is get your Pinterest started off, right? Because this is crazy. Yeah, because like people are so much wandering around Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and putting those huge spend in ads and huge spend in stuff and trying to just cry on those CACs, right? That there is a platform right there which is going to give it to you, and you're just not leveraging it. Oh my God, this is nice. So when it comes to primarily targeting, you were mentioning that Pinterest gives a better targeting, and also this is just my observation that somewhere I've read that Pinterest, most brands out there who serving for women work better in Pinterest compared to men, right? Is that right? Is that wrong? Because
No.
primary data which is out there.
So that example that I gave you about the 4 million that they brought in is a more male-dominated industry. It's an automotive, and they outperform than our female brands. As a female, I'm going to say that I like save things and I think about them. Males convert faster. So if you can show them a reason why to use the product, how to use the product, why they're searching, all of a sudden they'll buy it right there. And so we see that where Pinterest used to be that, let me plan my wedding or my baby's room. I'm not planning anything as I'm going and just getting it and converting. So we see actually male groups convert faster than female groups on Pinterest.
Wow. Okay. The statement I'm going to write, and I'm going to change that Google data which is coming up. Okay. What kind of brands, like you must have scaled quite a bit of brands. Please tell us maybe one of the stories which started from zero, really scaled it up to easily, as you were saying, 4 million, right? What was that entire story on Pinterest? Apart from the UGC, what else did you guys experiment out there?
Sure. So I guess I won't use that one. We'll use a different brand. We had a hair care brand. So that's more female. So I just talked about the automotive. We have a hair care brand, and we were able to start with zero, and then grow. And we actually use their TikTok content on Pinterest, out the watermark. And we actually had a TikToker do one video for us. They sold $15,000 worth of product in 24 hours by that one video. And that's actually driving from Pinterest. So taking people from zero to gangbusters. Now that doesn't happen for every industry. So I don't want someone to listen to this. They hear us talking. They're like, I'm not at $4 million. It's a slow way. Another one that that I'm thinking about right now is furniture. So we're really well known as our agency. We're really well known in the furniture industry. What better way to show how to create a room, to do a room, to give ideas, to say if this is your style. So we were able to take a brand on there from zero. They had zero following. They went to 20,000 followers, getting repinned, and we were seeing sales come up. Now they're way higher in numbers, but that's because they have over 100,000 SKUs. And the cost of furniture is higher. So we saw that they sold out 14 mattresses in the first month. Well, they weren't getting that conversion on Facebook with doing all this money behind paid ads, and yet we were only putting $50. Well, what people were typing in was sleep. I need more sleep. What do I drink? Should I have matcha tea before bed? And we were saying it's not matcha. It could be your pillow. And so being creative as people were thinking about it, it's like, and that's the part about the brand. How do I sleep better? How do I stay cool when I sleep? My air conditioning's not working.
People were searching this on Pinterest. Yeah. It just blows my mind. Okay.
Well, you're looking for tips for your home. What's the best standing desk I can find? I'm gaining weight and need to lose weight. I sit at my desk all day. We have a perfect solution. We have a desk treadmill. And all of a sudden they're seeing that.
Wow. This is crazy. Okay. Well, I also have come across this Pinterest partner in creators, thing and all of that. So do you guys leverage the same thing for your own clients? How does it work in terms of, getting these creators on board, working with the platform? How does that entire thing work?
When we look at a creator, we don't just look at one platform. We call them platform agnostic. So whatever you believe, maybe Instagram is your choice. We sit there and say, hey, we're going to expose you on every platform. So we've actually been able to help influencers who work with us or content creators who are like, oh, I'm on Instagram. And we're like, well, we're going to do a blog that has 4 pins with it. We're going to say, tag them to you, and they're going to start going to your Instagram. So influencers work with us all the time because they're like, well, I didn't have a following on Pinterest and now I do. And so it's like this ecosystem of being able to share across all of it. And so we don't look for an influencer who's well known on Pinterest. We look for how can we use their content on that platform and really hit that omni-channel presence. We don't want them to just be, look at all these TikTok influencers right now. TikTok's getting banned in a lot of areas. And so we're able to take their content and use it on Pinterest. And so now they have a forever home, but they also trust us as a brand to say, okay, I'm going to partner with them because they think outside the box.
Okay. That's nice. When I was also, searching for targeting and all that, there was a pretty much good ranking in terms of the keywords, what I needed from Pinterest. And I started to, post pretty much twice a day, right? And then after I gave a gap of 2 days and my kind of like views tanked, right? How consistent does someone need to be on Pinterest? And does even those inspiration sort of like pins work anymore? Because that's how it started. But now with this entire video thing going on, I see more people getting output out of that, unless you have a good following, obviously.
For Pinterest, to answer your question, it's one of those platforms that you want a mixture. What works for you and what works for me were very different. I don't think you're looking up blonde hair shampoo. So we're looking at totally different things. And so being able to come up, now we both might use the same product, but we're going to be using it for different reasons. So a video pin works better for me, where an idea pin, because you want to get straight to the topic. And so making sure you're posting. Last week for a client, we actually had a pin that we posted 2 years ago go viral. We were like, what the, how? And it was like, it's just because now all of a sudden it was a topic. So we try to keep our topics in rotation. It's not Instagram, it's not Facebook. So changing how we think about the social platform and knowing something we did 2 years ago now has relevance. And it literally went from 0 views to 10,000 in 2 days. And we were like, what the heck? How did this happen? And it was because, that topic started, people were talking about it. And so having a variation and understand that it's a long-term game, and you're going to still see a lot of results really quickly, but you're also going to have that long-term value.
It is still the same formula of trying different situations that a user might use the product, tons of videos around those problems. Keep doing those, and one day it might just, one of it might hit off.
For a medical spa, everyone's talking about how did all these Hollywood stars get so skinny? So it's Ozempic. Okay, great. Let's talk about it. Let's put it out there, and let's put a ton of content about it. One might pick up now, but guess what? January 1st, it's going to pick up because everyone's going to be thinking about a diet. How do I get skinny? How do I lose weight? Because it's a new year. So know that your pins are going to aggregate.
Should you plan your content around some of the days that is coming in, or some of the, behaviors that people might do when these cases come in? Because as you said, it might just take off then, or should you be, very cognizant and, keep experimenting?
We say keep experimenting, and then test always. We're just like developers. You have to think like a developer. It is do something, test it, see if it works, build something again. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
You talked about organic. You've talked about how it grows. Why does somebody need to put in money?
So that's when you're taking your organic content that's already performing and you're putting a small budget around it. And there's brand awareness, traffic, and conversion. Brand awareness is, you can use it to get people to a landing page or a site, and then you can retarget them because you're going to have that pixel to serve them in different ones. For traffic, it's, hey, you want a lot of exposure because you're launching a new product. So you're going to do a traffic campaign and just literally hit it hard with a budget on there. Then there's a conversion one, when someone's pretty much through and they just need ideas because they want to make sure that's worth the investment. So maybe I need a new cold air intake in my car. When am I going to make that decision? When my cold air intake, breaks. And so I'm in that conversion mindset. And so you have to think of it from a different angle. I think a lot of e-commerce businesses go straight for, we just need conversion. We need conversion. And you and I remember there's billboards. A billboard is not, you can't track that. And so the old way of thinking in marketing has to go away, and it has to be focused on this new way of thinking. There is brand awareness, there is traffic, and there is conversion, and they need to be treated differently. If you don't build up this pipeline before, everyone's going to convert. And we had a client who did that. Unfortunately, they only focused on conversion. They wanted no brand awareness, no traffic. They're like, if we spend, we want it to convert. And so everyone converted in their funnel and they had no more funnel. So they were like, what's happening? I'm like, well, if 300 people come and they buy something, they're not buying again. You have to get 300 new people in it. So you have to, as a business owner, especially in e-commerce, you need to think about each buckets. Here's my brand awareness one. Here's my traffic. Here's my conversion.
Because you don't have the leverage of closing a deal and sitting for some time. You gotta get in the money every day. Brand awareness, traffic, conversion. All right. So when it comes to collaborations with other products, right? Have you seen people doing this on Pinterest? Because Instagram has a beautiful thing of me collaborating with other creator, right? I don't see that option in Pinterest. So I'm really curious to know how somebody does this.
So for some brands, it's a referral one. So we call it a partnership. So we'll give them a partnership board. So that board, which holds all your pins, are collaborations. And this is not my client, so I'm just going to say they did a great job and I admire what they did, was Nike and Tiffany. Tiffany jewelry and Nike came out with a collab. They did it on Instagram, they did it on LinkedIn, they did it on Pinterest. And so they dedicated a board just to Tiffany's on the Nike one and vice versa on the Tiffany one. And they had that collab so that it's driving traffic to the other persons. And that's how a true partnership, just like in a marriage or just like dating, it's a true partnership. You have to both be pushing for the same end goal. And I think that's brands that we see. Again, not my clients, but they just did an amazing job.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there you go. I think I'm going to study a bit on the top of that. When it comes to Google search, people really focus on the copy, focus on the keyword, focus on tons of CRP ranking and blah, blah, blah. To get top on Pinterest feed, beyond the content that you're delivering, does it matter in terms of what you write, the keywords, the alt text, all of that? Is there a proper system around it?
Yes, there is. Knowing the keywords, knowing with calls to action to get people to want to click, want to save it. Really great
keywords on Pinterest.
Well, they provide a lot of options, but I have to go back to my old friend AI. SEO is not the same anymore. And so, I mean, Google even announced that, the ways of knowing SEO. So you're going to be looking for not only keywords, but how do people naturally speak is not how they naturally write. And so you have that. You also have visual search. So being able to take that picture, that image, and put it on there, and then making sure the image is tagged is really important. Putting those keywords into that image. So LinkedIn has done a really great job with this. You have to put keywords. What is someone looking at? Same thing with Pinterest. So it's more of a natural platform, but I mean, Google's made the announcement, SEO is going away. So if you've been planning your whole life on SEO, you're about to get your boat rocked because it's going to be changing over to a new way of thinking.
Oh, okay. Again, a new thing that somebody needs to go and check it out. You're dropping some really new stuff here, Robin. There's one thing which is still running in my mind is around, let's say in a month, you've done around, few number of pins. You've got this much of traffic. How relevant is the traffic? Because a marketer really cares about that from different channels, and he only sees that channel being good because it's driving relevant traffic. So in terms of relevancy, how does Pinterest do compared to others?
Again, it's sometimes our top performing social platform. I laugh every time we bring a new client on and we do the first 30-day report. And we're talking about 30 days. 30 days of going live. And they'll be like, wait, what? We had 12,000 views. We didn't even have a Pinterest when we started this month. And I'm like, right, correct. So it's really the relevance. They're starting to see the traffic for a lot of brands, and it's thinking outside the box. So if we're talking to a plastic surgeon, you're like, well, what is he selling? He's not selling. We're not waiting for someone to convert or buy something there. We're looking for them to book an appointment. So we track that coming through Pinterest, and it's UTM tracking, which I'm sure everyone who's listening is so used to that. Yeah. It's really knowing where it is, but Google Analytics can tie into a lot of platforms that pull Pinterest content in there.
How many brands are you guys working on Pinterest with?
48. I counted them the other day because I knew this question was coming. So 48 brands, we are working with them currently on Pinterest. We've had some great results. We have all of our case studies on our website. If someone's like, I want to see this, we don't name the brands, but you pretty much can say this is in furniture, this is in shampoo, this is in food, CPG, so consumer packaged goods, have the best return. And a lot of them are so small. So food is one of those things we all need. People need ideas. People don't want to cook every night. I might like Italian food and there's Indian food and I want to know how I can use turmeric in my Italian food. So I'm going to go look for this seasoning company. And so but I'm also going to use it in a face mask because turmeric's great at clearing up my face. So if you think about all those different angles, we're seeing brands really just get that exposure. And so we have some great case studies on what's been able to happen in 30 and 60 days on Pinterest and where those numbers are. And it's across every platform. I haven't found a brand that doesn't work on Pinterest. Not one yet. Now, Facebook. Me and Facebook have some issues, but sorry, Facebook, if you listen to this, stop being so difficult for all of us. But Pinterest has been so great. That's my shout out to Facebook if they ever want to watch this.
No. That's gonna go on. Okay. I want to talk a bit more about your agency and the company and stuff. The name, especially. Let's start with why Fifth Cor. I'm trying to get a head around it. I couldn't.
Okay, so thank you for that question. Actually, it's a really cognitive decision we made. So we believe in immersive marketing and experience. It's no longer about silos of email, social, all of this. And so we wanted to bring brands to life. So fifth represents, first of all, 5 is a lucky number if everyone knows, but fifth represents the 5 senses. So sight, smell, hear, and sound. So we try to create an experience of that. And we're trying to tell people to get immersed into what the experience is. So when I look at something on Pinterest, my mouth should water and I should see it and I should be able to listen to music while doing it. And so fifth represents the 5 senses. And it's really, that was a cognitive decision. And then core. So core is the Latin word for heart. So at the heart of our business, it's really to give back to small business owners. We understand the struggles of being a small, medium, and large size business and the pressures. It's very loud out there in digital. And so at the core of who we are, we want to make sure we represent them. So at the heart of who we are, that's why we do. So fifth, 5 senses and heart. And that's really how a person is built. And so that's why we made the name.
Wow. Okay. Really thought through, really, I feel it's all what you had in mind, which has gone to the name, and I can see that in the work as well. It really is amazing when sometime I talk to any founder who, thinks this way, brings thoughts this way, because then their clients don't become clients, their clients become community, right? And this is what I even talk to some people, that you need to start thinking like this if you really want to be that sustainable business that you always talk about. And it's just not always around the numbers. It's all about the emotions. It's all about your values. It's all about that. It's nice. I think a lot of people that can be brands, tech enablers, or agencies need to really take this approach. I'm really glad, because this really inspires, I think, me, and I think a bunch of us who are listening as well, to start thinking this for our businesses. So truly great for that too. When did you guys start the agency? And how has it been in terms of, with AI coming in? How are you guys leveraging AI? And how are you looking at, taking this entire AI revolution up within your company?
So we were started almost 2 years ago. So really hit the ground running about 1.5 years ago. We are a spin-off of a tech company. So I actually worked for a tech company, and they're focusing on tech, and we were able to spin off and do marketing. You talk about AI, but we are marketing and an innovation company. You can actually see that in our name, and everyone's like, what does that mean? We believe in creating the unexpected. So not just AI, but leveraging augmented reality from a QR code. And people are like, well, I've never used augmented reality. And we're like, have you used an Instagram filter? You've used augmented reality. And so making it really simple for people to understand. So we look at augmented reality. We look at virtual reality. So a completely immersed experience. And how can we bring that to a brick and mortar or an e-commerce brand? How do we teach a cooking class through augmented reality? How do we help a neurosurgeon? So we built out where a brain pops out and you can see a stroke happening in the brain using a QR code. And so we're focused on that. We're focused on incorporating machine learning, because machine learning is extremely important now, and ranking for those words. So we really take your marketing strategy and look at what the machine is saying and how do we fit into that machine learning. AI is one of my favorite things, and it's really a hot topic for everybody, but from copy to content to making sure you rank. And AI, with every artificial intelligence, you need real intelligence. So we need a human. I say, AI will never replace you. We just did a blog about this. AI will never replace you, but a person who uses AI will replace you. So for brands, for small business owners, for someone like you and me, it's a great fact checker and it makes us work harder and faster. I think people are scared about AI. And I say, you weren't scared to drive a car, right? And at one time we had a horse and buggy. So we've come a long way. And so being able to share it, it's just going to help us be better as humans, I think. But it really needs intelligence. And what we're loving is AI in photos. So let's go back to that Pinterest thing. AI created content. If I take a picture of this cup and then I use AI to put it in different scenes, now people can see it on a hike and near water. And so I can't afford to fly all over the place. So as a business owner, I can leverage this and use it as a Pinterest.
I'm also seeing few people put people holding this or using this and everything. Like it's getting a little bit, real, if you know what I mean. Trying to get there because, yeah, I mean, it's great for small businesses, right? Because they don't have to give money to people to just, do those photo shoots. Because it's just a photo, right? Like, yeah, I can do that for you after a bunch of, iterations. Video is still a long way to go. But have you seen people, doing this kind of stuff as well?
So we use AI videos. Fantastic, yes, especially for social. So being able to look and take a photo of someone, I hope if you have an experience, I have to show it to you. But I could take a photo of you right now and I can put a script behind you in AI and it will move your mouth. And so we use that now, especially from far away distances. This is a great way. And that's a great way to get that thought leadership onto it, especially if you're not good on camera. So we incorporate.
Okay, let me just stop you right there. Don't you have to take my consent to use my face and put my content out there?
Okay, so that's a really great question. I'm so glad you asked. We talked about this at the last, I was at something about a month ago, and we actually, on stage, that was a question. And I think gone are the days of content creators, and think about it as a curator. And so I'm able to curate what's out there. And I think that's where brands need to switch because there's such this push in the art world that's AI generated art. Well, is it or is it a curator? It still takes a person to pull that behind it. It still takes those prompts of a person. And so an artist or a museum still has a curator. It's not my artwork as a museum director.
But I'm talking about these cases where let's say if you want some influencer or ambassador to represent your brand, you might be thinking as a simple hack that, okay, I don't want to hire that guy.
It's a very blurry line. I mean, look at the AI that's created by the statue of David right now. They're putting AI behind it. Well, Michelangelo created that. That is not our job to change it, but they're making him dance in videos. And so, yeah, there's a very blurry line. And I think there's going to have to be, let's go back to our name of Core in the name. There has to be some heart behind it. There has to be some ethics. And it's right now, it's like a battlefield. I think we'll get to ethics. So I tell people live above reproach, understand also cultural barriers. There's going to be some things culturally that are different, and we need to be attentive to that.
I'll hate to say that a lot of people who are creators, get out of jobs because of this. Because I think, as you said, that real intelligence comes out of them. And how much ever artificially you take what they work and do it, it still needs to be credited back to the creator, just like you do for an affiliate. You take anyone's art, you change it, you make money. Yeah, I mean, give back to the creator, give back to the art. Because the crypto world and NFT worlds are all about this, right? But I don't see the same feeling or philosophy because people are just misusing stuff right now as well.
And let's talk about Web3 and crypto real quick, because they do give credit back, and it was built around community. You look at, Discord and all of those, and that's really where AI needs to be. And so there is an ethical change and that needs to happen with that, especially with augmented reality too. You're taking someone's reality and augmenting it. There needs to be ethics behind that. I can't just show you a scan of someone's body and if you don't even know it's your body being used. there is ethics around it. And I think we're going to see that, and it's going to take a lot of us as a community, but just like Web3 did, we've got to be able to build those safety nets. And so we all know crypto's been around for years. Everyone's like, crypto's new. I'm like, it's not new. It's not.
Been there.
And when it first started, it wasn't as ethical as it is now. People had to step in. So I hope there's businesses like mine, business like you, that steps in and says, hey, no, we're going to give back to the content creator.
Yeah.
That's really where it comes from.
Awesome. Thanks, Robin. Sorry we took a digress from Pinterest, but I think it's all related in some point. Right? Like everything is so connected to each other. Even on Pinterest as well, right? Like for me, I've been so amazed by the videos which is coming out on Pinterest, because it's switching my mind from YouTube, right? Because I see some real content out there, apart from the TikTok, fun content. There is, and Instagram also is so noisy right now. Like, it just becomes those noisy stuff. So Pinterest is getting that eyeballs right now, I think, because it's so clean, it's so good enough. So yeah, great to know that 48 of your brands are on Pinterest and growing. Guys, that's a huge number. If you're thinking that Pinterest is not working for you, you're not ready to change your mind. It's been there for a long time. Please go ahead and hit Robin and get your Pinterest growth right there. So thank you so much, Robin, for hopping in for the DTC Drive podcast. This has been an amazing ride. Guys, again, just putting out Pinterest, pin it right there.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been such a great conversation.